Hello, Christina Forbes here again today. Wife of seriously injured worker Lauren Forbes. As I said, I'd give you an update, and I haven't been up in a couple of days as I was trying to, get our shit together and stuff and see what's kind of going on. Lauren contacted corporate security, left a message with Mr.Sidhu. Mr. Sidhu phoned him back. The conversation did not go very well at all. Somewhere along the lines of Mr. Sidhu informing my husband that he should have better control of his wife. My husband asked him, why is he being penalized for his wife's freedom of speech? That here in Canada, that's everybody's right. Mr. Sidhu didn't have an answer for him or wasn't able to locate an answer for him in the policies and procedures. Lauren tried to tell Mr. Sidhu that, he's finished his entrance exams, and if he could inform his adjudicator, that would be great, so that they could release his check. Because, as you all know from the letter from corporate security, apparently they're still in business together, so there shouldn't have been a reason why his check still has not been released, and it's now the 10th of March, or June, pardon me. Sorry. It's now the 10th of June. So, still no help from welfare, still nothing from WorkSafeBC, and not too sure what's going on with my EI. I'm going to phone them today and find out what's going on there. So I did go back to the welfare office though yesterday and ask for a reconsideration form. So hopefully the lady will phone me back this morning like she was supposed to from here in Port Hardy. When later in the day, Lauren phoned Mark Evans to let him know, this is what's going on. I finished my exams. I'm done. I need some money. What's going on here? Apparently we're still in business. Mark Evans said that he's left a lengthy message with Sheila Wazakasi, and hopefully something will happen with that. We'll keep you informed on what's going there. Anyways, so when I was talking in a previous video, I had mentioned Lauren's very first adjudicator that he had when he broke his back. And I couldn't quite remember her name, but I found a piece of information that was tucked away in his file as I've been going through it. And her name, as I caught it here, was Cynthia Tyan Orser. She was his case manager when he broke his back. What I found here in his file was a claim management plan that was kind of set out by, I think she was like an intake nurse when he first got hurt. So that's, when I phoned Cynthia later in the week, it was kind of strange because she was originally the first person I had phoned when Lauren fell at work and shattered both of his arms. And I had phoned her later on in the week to make arrangements for Lauren to go back to St. Joe's to have the surgery done. And she was gone. And we had Chris Winkler, and he informed Lauren that Cynthia was no longer with this office. It was the strangest thing ever. She just vanished. Poof, gone. So you know what, Cynthia Tyson Orser, if you're out there, sweetheart, I know they probably stuffed you away in some broom closet, and you're probably licking envelopes now, just trying to get by, but you did bad. You should have seen that Lauren was ready to go back to work, and you didn't. And as a result, the second injuries are a direct result of the first. That's been documented, and I've kind of shown that briefly in other videos. Yeah, it's too bad that that adjudicators and stuff just vanish. It's kind of like the X-Files. This one form that I'm looking at, though, isn't really too important. Here it is. I wanted to read the additional comments that she had put down at the bottom. additional comments there. Oh, pardon me, additional comments. So, this claim requires a fairly high level of ongoing monitoring and support. When I spoke with Mr. Forbes and yesterday and first learned of the new injuries, he stated, "And if it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all." This family has met with a number of challenges this year, not the least of being Mr. Forbes' injuries and his inability to sustain his family financially as a result. My concern is for his outlook during the initial phase of recovery from this new set of injuries. There are also issues relating to transportation. Mrs. Forbes does not have a driver's license. Mr. Forbes is prevented for at least the next month from driving. They live in Sayward, a small community that has very few support services and no taxi company. They will have to travel to Campbell River and perhaps once a week by taxi from Campbell River. They will have to travel to Campbell River and perhaps once a week by way of taxi from Campbell River, sponsored by the board. So that was kind of an interesting little tidbit there. Lauren, just so you know, actually started driving again, his sweet-ass Camaro, when he still had one cast on his arm. That's how freaking determined he was to go back to work. Like, he went back to his gradual return to work when he still had a partial cast on his wrist and stuff. It was, or his scaphoid bone, pardon me, I think it was. This is how determined Lauren was to go back to work. Yet WorkSafeBC's, what do they call it? Early return and safe back to work practices just don't seem to be applying to Mr. Forbes' case at all. You know, push the injured worker back to work as soon as possible. And we do mean as soon as fucking possible, right? Because jack up those rates and suck up the money. Mr. Forbes, as you are aware, your claim has been accepted for chronic pain, both arms, left wrist fractured, comminuted fractures of the distal radius left side, K-wire fixation performed, right arm, elbow fractured, comminuted fracture of the right radial head, right forearm, and hands, except fingers, fracture of the scaphoid, right wrist. Okay, so, but you are not accepted for is both left and right arms, multiple locations, other diseases, conditions, disorders, CRPS, RSD disallowed. So what they're doing here is that she's completed her review regarding her ability to drive and further travel expenses payable and must be advised that your request is denied. No further travel expenses will be provided other than those costs acceptable within the current travel policies of WorkSafeBC. So it says here that Lauren was seen by Dr. Van Setter on May 18th. 2006 to see about him driving. His consultant report was received and notes that a Dr. Jarman from WorkSafeBC, someone Lauren's never seen, had some concerns regarding driving, but I'm not convinced driving is a risk for him, and I get the impression it would be reasonably safe for him to drive his own vehicle. Now this is Dr. Van Setter. Okay, the guy does not work for the Department of Motor Vehicles. You know, given Lauren's injuries, okay, just wait till I show you the stuff from the Department of Motor Vehicles. It's ridiculous. But yet WorkSafeBC is like, well, why didn't you send us that stuff from the Department of Motor Vehicles? You know what? It's not our job. Go and get it yourself. So, you know what? When I show that stuff in later videos, you guys are going to look like a bunch of turds. And I'm looking forward to that a lot. So, you know, according to some Dr. Jarman from WorkSafeBC, Lauren's never seen. Even he was concerned about Lauren's ability to drive, but you know, Dr. Van Setter, I'm reasonably convinced I'm not convinced driving is a risk for him, and I get the impression it would be reasonably safe for him to drive. You get the impression it would be reasonably safe for Lauren to drive. Although you are not a driving instructor, you do not work for the Department of Motor Vehicles, and yet, even with a letter from the superintendent to the Department of Motor Vehicles, Lauren's driver's license was taken away due to his injuries. But yet, Dr. Van Setter didn't see a reason why Lauren couldn't drive. Well, this is almost at the 10-minute mark. I've got some more stuff that I found that's going to be great, and we're also going to get into this neat little bit that I found here on the internet that has to deal with the board of directors and how the composition, powers, and duties of the board of directors is set out in sections 81 and 82 of the Workers' Compensation Board. but how the WorkSafeBC Board of Directors operates in accordance with the TSX guidelines for effective corporate governance. So that's interesting. I wasn't aware. So we're going to talk about that too in future videos. Thank you. Again from the Forbes House.